hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello! So today's video, pardon me if I'm a little bit sassy today. It's the day before the election and you know what? I'm not even gonna expand. I think you understand what that means for me. So anyway, today, my friend Abby Williamson and I were in the DMs in our group chat, just talking how we do, just having a little chat. And it was around the time that Kim Kardashian posted her tweets about flying her inner circle out to a private island for her birthday. And we were discussing that, and we were discussing influencer culture and flex culture and how 2020 is going to impact flex culture. And I was like, this is a great video idea. I'm gonna make a video. And Abby was like, I'm gonna make a video. And since we always post the same videos unintentionally anyway, we decided we would just collaborate. So I'm gonna link Abby's video down below. She's gonna be talking about the same topic as me. I love Abby. If you aren't subscribed, please go check her out. She's one of my dearest friends here on YouTube. I adore her. Anyway, I'm gonna do this as a get ready with me, frankly, because I don't have time to get ready for the video and then film it. So I'm just gonna kill two birds with one stone today, and we're gonna get ready while we talk about this. So I just want to preface this. I have a couple of videos that talk about flex culture. I did a collaboration with Tiffany Ferg over last Glomus where we talked about flex culture, and I also did a video talking about kind of the normalization of luxury fashion that was actually did really well for my channel, which is kind of weird because it's not the normal stuff that I talk about, but you guys seem to really like that topic. And today I kind of wanted to combine both of those videos, but talk about it in a new context, which is that the year of 2020 has happened, and kind of how I think that the year of 2020 and everything that has happened this year is going to kind of change influencer culture as we know it, and how influencers, I think, are a little scared of that happening. Let's talk some examples. So first example, already touched on this a little bit, but Kim Kardashian West basically posted that for her 40th birthday, she flew all of her close friends and family out to this private island for like a weekend to just pretend COVID didn't exist. I want to make it so clear. I'm not like mad that Kim Kardashian has the money to do something like that. I should preface this. I am mad to amass that much wealth while there are people in our country that are living on the streets and dying from lack of healthcare, homelessness. Like, that does upset me, but that's not even the core issue of what we're talking about today. We're not even going to talk about that whole side of things. I want to talk about why she felt the need to post it. I think ever since social media's inception, it's kind of been used as a tool for flexing, even on a large scale, on a small scale. What do you post on social media? You post about kind of the good things going on in your life. Like, for example, when I got a car, I wanted to post about it. If you go on vacation somewhere, you usually want to post about it. That's kind of what people have been using social media for. For some influencers and celebrities, posting about things like that is how they've built their entire brands. It's how they make their money. They make their money by posting about the new bag they bought, about the new car they just got, about going to the trendiest Hollywood dinners. Flex culture has become so in line with influencer culture that it's not that weird nowadays to see something like what Kim Kardashian posted. Like, I think if things in 2020 hadn't happened the way they did, I don't think people would have thought as much about the Kim Kardashian post because it's kind of what we were used to up until that point. However, the response to this post was really, really negative. People were really upset, and people were basically like,
we want to tax you.
And at the end of the post, she gave this little speech about how, like, she's so grateful she can do this and she's reminded of her privilege. And it's like, well, that's great. We're all reminded now of the privilege we don't have, Kim. Kind of like what I said earlier. I wasn't mad about any of it, mind you. I wasn't really upset about anything. I just thought it was like, I just was like, wow, what poor taste post a vacation like that. Like, Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians in general have all of the resources in the world to do a vacation like that and have nobody find out. Nobody ever needed to know that she went on this like $5 million vacation on a private island, like during a pandemic. She chose to share that with people during a time when we have a record number of homelessness, a record number of people being evicted, a record number of people who don't have jobs. People are dying in hospitals and can't say goodbye to their families and have to say goodbye to them over FaceTime. People can't have funerals for their families. I'm in a position like that right now. Things suck. So what normally would have been you seeing something like that and eye rolling and being like, oh man, the rich. Now it causes this sort of fire in you of anger that she is able to go do something like that. It's not even just a jealousy. It's a like, wow, how unfair is everything in the world right now? Like, it's still so grossly unfair. And I think this is exacerbated by influencer culture in general, especially if you've been keeping up with like YouTube and TikTok people recently. It's like every week there's a party happening in Hollywood, this massive party. And the new thing has been, which especially given Halloween was this past weekend, the new thing has been, oh, well, everybody got tested before they went in. Everybody got rapid tests before they entered the party, so it was safe. And it's like, okay, well, that's not really what I asked. Because again, if you want to have a party like that and you can make it safe technically to COVID, like, okay, whatever. If you have the money and resources to do that, I certainly don't, but like, good for you. It's the fact that they're posting it. Even Kendall Jenner, specifically at her party, had this sign that was like, okay, please don't post anything on social media, literally because she was like, I don't want to get canceled for having a rager on Halloween during a pandemic. And people still could not help themselves. Her own family could not help themselves and could not help themselves from posting pictures of that event. So all of this is happening, and I think there's just kind of this like anger and animosity towards people who are so much richer than you that we've really never seen before from influencers and celebrities. Honestly, I think what marked this and what started all this was when Gail Gadot and all of those other celebrities sang Imagine at the beginning of quarantine and just got dragged to filth because it's like, oh yeah, you and your mansion, we're all together, we're all dreamers. Like, shut up. You don't want to hear from celebrities right now. What I found really interesting about all of this was that when the Kim Kardashian thing was happening, when people were like, hey Kim, people are dying, Chloe Morello, who's a beauty guru on YouTube, prefaced by saying I don't really have an issue with Chloe Morello. I just found her comments to be in kind of poor taste, where basically she was like defending the Kardashians, which I think is always, when you're defending millionaires like that, a really weird hill to die on. Especially in this case, it just felt like a weird hill to die on because it was like she was defending the right to post a vacation picture. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was a weird hill to die on. But anyway, defending the Kardashians, and she was kind of making these like false equivalencies that were like, well, technically everybody flexes on everybody because if you post a Starbucks drink that somebody in Venezuela doesn't have, they're looking up to you. And she basically was saying that like Americans are just now bitter. I can't believe she said this. She's basically saying that Americans are now bitter because we're the ones that are unemployed and broke when we didn't care before, which is, I can't really get into the complexities of why that's not true. I'll put the tweets right here. Anyway, that was her stance. And I was sitting there and she's like going back and forth with people, especially with my friend Abby, who I'm doing this collab with. She was going back and forth with Abby. And I was like, why is Chloe going so like ride or die for this? And then it really hit me. I was like, oh, it's not even just to defend the Kardashians. It's to defend the lifestyle of influencers. Because if influencers can't post their vacation pictures, and if they can't post, you know, when they go on these really lavish trips, if influencers can't post when they buy a new Chanel bag, if it's suddenly frowned upon for influencers to be flexing on their followers because their followers are like unemployed and dealing with really serious issues and don't necessarily want to be flexed on anymore, if that culture shifts, then that's a problem for not only Chloe, but that's a problem for a lot of influencers. That's a problem for a lot of celebrities. And I do just want to say, to Chloe's point, because she was kind of making the point that if you go on a vacation to Canada or something, like that could be, if you as an individual person post about that, that could be seen as flexing on like somebody who follows you, even if you have like 100 followers. And honestly, I've said this before on my channel and I'll say it again, I just think that influencers, people in general, are held to a much higher standard. And I think to compare a trip to Canada to renting out a private island for 40 of your closest friends to ignore a global pandemic is a very different thing. So I want to just address that right now. I'm not talking about just a person who posts on their social media. What I am talking about is the influencer culture. People used to view social media as kind of a form of escapism, right? Like it was, I'm using the new Kaleidos palette, by the way. I know this, I normally do talktorials, but this isn't really gonna be a talktorial. People used to use this as kind of a form of escapism, where it was like, oh, Kim Kardashian went on this crazy vacation I could never go on, but like, it's kind of fun to watch them go on a cool vacation that I can't go on. Whereas now, in the world of 2020, where everything just feels so horrible, for the most part, people are really just having a rough time this year. So as a result of that, I think people aren't looking for their source of entertainment to be this unachievable celebrity status. It's not really fun anymore to watch rich people gallivant around to different countries and go to parties where they can get rapid tested. It's not really fun to watch that content anymore, because it's not even that it's not something you could do. Probably you could never do it. It's that everything feels so much worse right now. I hope this is making sense. I just feel like everything feels worse this year. Even when good things happen to me personally, everything has been clouded by the never-ending rainstorm of 2020. And so I think what people have been turning to more and have been wanting to watch more is people who are more like relatable, people who are going through a similar thing and being honest about that. And I think there are some influencers who have really taken that and like honestly ran with it. Emma Chamberlain is a really good example of someone who I feel like for a lot of her content during quarantine was very similar to how I felt during quarantine. And so I wanted to watch her more. And I think for influencers who profited and got famous off of flex culture, especially a lot of TikTokers and Instagrammers, people who got famous and profited off of that, I think they're seeing a lot more backlash because people just don't want to watch that content anymore. And my wonder is like, is it ever going to go back? Like, are we ever going to just be like, oh, well, like, I think we're at a real turning point here. I do want to also say too, I know sometimes I speak in very generalized terms, but when I say I think people want more like relatable, entertaining content, I don't mean all people, because I know there are some people that still like to turn to more like lavish, extreme content for entertainment during this time to distract themselves. But I would just say that the majority has shifted from that to wanting content that is a little bit more honest and relatable, to something that might make you laugh instead of making you feel like you just got dunked on. I think it's also all hitting really close to home right now too, because the holidays are coming up. So it's like you have all these influencers going to all these crazy parties. And then on the flip side of that, you have like college kids who probably can't go home for Thanksgiving to see their families. You have Kendall Jenner throwing this birthday party with all of these people, spending like thousands of dollars to be transformed into Pamela Anderson. And on the flip side of that, you have people who don't have money to pay for Christmas gifts for their children this year. And it becomes a really almost uncharted ground. I think even at my level of influence, which is so small in comparison, like even I've been struggling with like, is it in poor taste to do like a Black Friday haul this year? Is it in poor taste to be doing hauls at all? Is doing collection videos in poor taste right now? These are questions that I think need to be asked. Is it insensitive to do a what I got for Christmas video when Christmas is going to be very difficult for people this year? And I think these are questions that influencers should be listening to. Like, I know you can make whatever content you make, and at the end of the day, it's your content, do what you want. I think it comes down to, especially influencers and people like Kim Kardashian, who's like a reality star, you're famous for being yourself and because normal everyday people like you and support you. So to not be at all cognizant of what normal everyday people are going through when you post things like that, it just feels kind of gross. I don't know. I'd really love to know what you guys think about this topic. I think it's really interesting. Like, I think it's interesting to think about how things are going to continue to sort of evolve and change as a result of 2020. I think it's super interesting to see like where things are going to go, because if you think about it, for me, the most popular people that I see on the internet all the time are the people that are just being aware of the current situation. Because Chloe Morello is right in the sense that it's like everybody's always going to be going through things and like you have to go on with your life. I understand that, but when it's everyone going through the same thing pretty much and everyone being affected by it and it's everything, that to me says, okay, when everybody's going through it all at the same time, maybe let's like take a step back and reevaluate what we're doing here. I don't know. Do you think influencer culture is going to change? Do you think that influencers are nervous about that change happening? Do you think, because influencers keep getting called out, do you think they're nervous I would be nervous. Do you think they're nervous? Do you think they should be posting? Do you think it's a form of escapism to see influencers posting about these vacations? Like, does that actually make you feel better? I'm genuinely curious because I think it's an interesting conversation to have of how flex culture will be evolving as 2020 goes on and as we go past this year, kind of what'll change in social media as a result of those things. Anyway, that's my video. Go check out Abby's video. It'll be linked down below. This has kind of been the everyday look that I've been doing lately, and I've been really liking it. The no foundation suits me. I love you guys so much. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're here watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below. And I will still have a link to register to vote in my description. But I think now that kind of done all I can for this past election, I'm gonna wait a year and then I'll start pushing again around the midterms. But just stay informed, do your best. Thank you to everybody who has told me that they have registered. I'm gonna cry. What's wrong with me? Thank you for everybody who told me over the past, I think, year and a half or so that I've been talking about voting. Thank you to anyone who said that they registered to vote because of me. It's like a very amazing feeling, and the fact that I was able to encourage you to do something like that makes me very happy. So thank you for telling me if I did, and also if you just did and didn't tell me, thank you for registering to vote. If you voted, thank you. I love you guys. Depending on how the election goes, don't know when you'll see me next, but no, I'm just kidding. I'll keep posting. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!